What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Unhinged Talk. As usual, I'm your host, Patrick Hensey, joined today by the man, Jay Lonzo. How we doing, Jalen?
I'm feeling great. How about yourself?
Can't complain. The Yankees just finished off a sweep of the White Sox, so we love to see that. We want to talk about Ketel Marte today. That rhymes like that. But maybe he could be an addition to the Yankees outfield that makes sense moving forward, especially with the Aaron Hicks injury. But before we get into that, everyone be sure, you guys know the deal by now. Like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications for more. We're going live before and after every single Yankees game this season, so stay tuned for that content. But Ketel Marte. Now, for any of you who don't know who Ketel Marte is, he's currently the Diamondbacks center fielder, but he's so versatile. He plays at basically any infield position, and he's a switch hitter as well, which would be huge for the Yankees. He's just coming back from an injury, so I guess before the Diamondbacks even thinking about putting him on the trade market, they maybe want to build his value up a little bit more, simply because no one's really going to trade for a guy who's just coming back from an injury. But I think as far as Ketel Marte goes, I don't know if there's a more perfect fit for the Yankees as far as like the trade market goes. Because like I said, he's an outfielder who could also play the infield, right? So if you ever have any injuries there, he could fill in if needed. And two, he's a switch hitter. So he could provide offense from both sides of the plate.
Yeah, no, this is a guy who I've kind of had my eye on, just as far as like enjoying watching him play. I really like the guys that make the transition from a middle infield position and play really well in the outfield, and he's one of the guys that have done it. In recent memory, I know like D. Gordon was another one, but he didn't
Yeah.
really stick in center field. Obviously, now we're seeing it with a guy like Miguel Andujar and Tyler Wade. But Ketel Marte is a guy who transitioned and really has filled in nicely in the outfield and is still capable of playing the middle infield, which is some of the most valuable positions in baseball. And his bat is just an extreme plus. He's fast, and I just really think he's a great potential addition to this Yankees roster. Not only for, like you said, as his versatility goes, but he had an amazing year in 2019, and I think he could return to form, given in a hitter's ballpark like Yankee Stadium, and not having to be the man that in the Diamondbacks lineup. I'm not really too sure who else in that lineup is producing at the level that he did. So he
Yeah.
could slot in and hit like seventh or eighth in this lineup, or maybe sixth, I guess, and have all the pressure off of him and really be able to perform under the radar. So I think this would be a
Yeah.
great spot.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, because like you said, the insane 2019 season, let me pull up those numbers really quick. So in 144 games where he basically split it evenly between center and second base, I believe, he batted 329, 389 on base with a 981 OPS
Yeah.
with 32 home runs and 92 RBIs. And he was kind of off to that start so far this season, before the injury, obviously. And then, 378 with a 410 on base with a 1000 OPS. Bro, we're talking about a guy who you insert him into the Bronx, and kind of the opportunities are endless as far as what he can contribute to the lineup. However, I think the only thing that would hold the Yankees back from this would be the price. Obviously, we're talking about a guy who's very good. He's a free agent in 2023, so he has the rest of this season and then all of next season. So you're getting a guy for a year and a half. My major question is what the Diamondbacks would be asking for in return
Yeah.
for him, right? Like, what would be your ideal package to give up for Ketel Marte?
Well, I think you have to start it with Clint Frazier.
Yeah.
At least if you're the Diamondbacks. I'm not sure if the Yankees are budging on that. I think the Yankees could pull something like this off without moving Clint, mainly because in a weird like reverse way, Clint has diminished his trade value so much that the Yankees might not need to include him in a major deal that they make. So you'd probably have to look at a Devi Garcia as a main guy in a package and then build it from there. I don't think it needs to be something like astronomical, because he hasn't really been that 2019 level since
Yeah.
2019, and he's been hurt a few times. So maybe it doesn't need to be crazy, but I do think it would hurt for sure. However, I don't think the price is the biggest thing holding the Yankees back from this deal. I think the biggest thing would be what they would have to do with Aaron Hicks. And I think it could get interesting because you could see a situation where just maybe, no one quote me on this, but maybe you make the package for Ketel Marte so sweet that the Diamondbacks even take back Aaron Hicks' contract. Maybe you
How
do.
sweet would the package have to
I
be?
think you'd have to at least include Devi and Clint, probably Miguel Andujar in there somewhere. Like it would have to be a really a big sweetener,
Yeah.
um, unless the Diamondbacks think Hicks is a good outfielder that they could plug in for in center field for the next 4 or 5 years or whatever, or maybe flip. Like it's a possibility. I don't think that that's necessarily realistic because why would the Diamondbacks pay that contract off unless the Yankees ate some of it.
Yeah.
I think it could be a cool way for not cool, but I think it could be a smart way for the Diamondbacks to get a bigger package for Ketel Marte.
It's
It's
fair.
something that we've seen in the past, so I don't want to discount it. It's just really tough because of how many years Aaron Hicks has left on his contract. But again, he only makes like about $10 million a year, so it's not an insane amount. Um,
Yeah. And I think that's the key here that we're not really talking about, right? If Aaron Hicks didn't get injured, we wouldn't be talking about this right now. But once again, here we are. Aaron Hicks is likely out for the season. So the Yankees have to kind of make up for the loss of him in the lineup. But as far as my potential package goes for Ketel Marte and what I would be willing to give up, um, call me crazy, but yes, I would give up both Devi and Clint, not Devi and Schmidt, Devi and Clint. And then you'd probably have to include one more guy, but I do think that gets the deal done. Simply because not only would Arizona be getting a solid starting pitcher who has a great future in the big leagues, and how old is Devi Garcia? 21, 22?
yeah, he's like 22 years old.
Unreal, unreal. I think the sky's the limit for him, especially in the National League. I think he could do well over there. And then Clint Frazier, a guy who we've been saying for so long, if he goes over to a National League team, for example, smaller market, and gets everyday at bats, he'll probably flourish. Let the dude grow out like a cool beard or something. He'll probably just turn into an absolute unit. But I think that probably gets the deal done. And I think the Yankees, I think that's kind of like a win-win for both sides, no?
Well,
Because Arizona gets two guys and the Yankees get Ketel Marte.
But what do you do with your outfield now? So obviously you're gonna have Gary slash Higgy catching. You have Voit at first, DJ
Yeah.
second, Glaber at third. I mean short, and Gio at third, Judge and right,
Marte
Ketel
in
Marte in
center.
center, and then you have Miggy playing left or
I mean,
Guardy.
I guess you maybe platoon Miggy and Guardy. I mean, I guess that's
I
probably the
wouldn't
way you go.
I wouldn't hate that. Like
Bro, I would miss Clinton so much,
of
but
course.
I think if you could get Marte for him, you probably have to pull the trigger just because I
Yeah.
think Marte would be so much more valuable to the team. And also, if the Yankees like him more and they'll give him the opportunity that Clint hasn't really gotten, I'm all for it. Because
And
it's
what
kind of
would
getting to the
you?
point where I don't think Frazier's getting the opportunity that he kind of deserves, even though
No,
he has
yeah,
struggled. I don't really think he's ever really going to get that time to shine in the Bronx.
yeah. I agree with you. I don't think. I think Clint is just kind of like a ticking time bomb as far as like when his exit from the Yankees is going to be and whether it's going
Yeah,
to be a graceful exit or ugly. It could go one of two ways,
it
but
might be ugly.
yeah, and even if he gets through this entire season and isn't traded in the off season, I think eventually like there's no way this guy ends his career with the Yankees. There's just no way.
No, no,
So
yeah, I agree.
I think the Yankees should capitalize on this opportunity that they have to bring in talent to this nucleus of a team that is destined, or I don't want to say destined, but they're in a position where they can absolutely win a World Series this year. So
Yeah.
don't let that go by the wayside. Um, outfield is pretty glaringly our biggest weakness right now. Obviously right field is locked up, but we have two out of the three outfield positions not in like they're big question marks. So
Yeah, and listen, if I'm being honest, if I really see the probability of this trade before we do wrap things up, if I think that this is gonna happen, I'm gonna say no. Simply because I think that the Yankees are very satisfied with their outfielder right now. I think that they're confident with Brett Gardner as their starting center fielder for the rest of the season. I think they're also confident in like a Miggy Clint battle for left. So I don't really see them making a huge move for an outfielder. I don't know. Maybe they'll prove me wrong. I don't know.
I'll say no to Ketel Marte. I'll say yes to another deal.
It's gonna be like
Um,
Delano DeShields Jr., bro. Like,
Here's what I'll say. I'm gonna a little hot take. I think the Shields might get a chance with the Yankees. However, I think the Yankees are gonna make a deal for an outfielder that is. It might surprise us. I'm not gonna say it's gonna be like a huge deal. I don't know who, but I think they'll make a deal for a center fielder that is going to be our starting center fielder come October. That's my
I like
prediction.
it. I like it. I don't know if it's going to be Ketel Marte, but maybe it is somebody. But that is going to wrap things up for today's episode. Appreciate everyone for stopping by. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications for more. You guys know the deal. We're going live before and after every single Yankees game this season, so stay tuned for that content. Also, stay happy, stay healthy, stay safe. Peace.